It's Friday night, or if you're on the East Coast, it's already Saturday morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Mandatory Live. Remember, if you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO. You can also find us on the audio side as well. Keep that in mind. Give us a 5-star, leave a rate and review because that all helps the channel grow. And if you've already done that, thank you so much. Let's give a big shout out to Rolly Romero because he wasn't supposed to win that fight. I think he was like a plus 700
And
or something.
Ryan Garcia was a minus 1100. And I stupidly thought Ryan Garcia would win this. I guess not
By
stupidly.
knockout, he messed up my parlay. I could have won
Same.
$2,400. Like
Same.
he just
Well, not that
literally,
much.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was betting like crazy. I was betting like crazy today. But he messed up my parlay
He did too.
because
Fine.
like seriously. But I want to give props to Rolly because we've interviewed him. He's a great guy. And I think a lot of people, including myself, so I'm going to apologize. I looked at that fight and I was like, Ryan's going to knock him out.
Me too.
And he stood in there, he knocked down Ryan, and he made Ryan Garcia look the worst he's ever looked in his entire career. And Rolly Romero should get a lot of credit for his performance. And it just shows you that anything can happen in either of these weight classes. But I'm taking a look at 147 pounds, Bryan, and Rolly and Teofimo Lopez makes a lot more sense to me than Jerome Boots Ennis and Teofimo Lopez. Because I think Jerome Boots Ennis, just size-wise, is going to be Teo.
Although both of them would be money fights for Jerome Boots Ennis, so I think he'd be smart to take either one. Before we continue, Foxy, thank you for joining. No Times Square cards ever again. No Mas. That was so disappointing. Welcome to the Slander Fest. If you got any slander for tonight's awful Times Square boxing card, I'll throw it up. If it's good, if it's funny, because I hated that shit from the jump. Y'all know this, and y'all know I'm skeptical of that TKO boxing shit and all the shit that they're trying to do. But a lot of people think that they're saving boxing, so we'll see. Happy for Romero, though. Credit to him. Yeah, kind of how I feel. Al DePau says he was not shocked that Rolly beat Ryan Garcia. Yeah. I feel now, with hindsight, I feel like I should have given Rolly more of a shot. My regret is because, clearly, look, Ryan Garcia even looked different. Like he was all jacked and hyped up for the Devin Haney fight. Not even jacked from like a literal standpoint, although that too, but like just his energy in that Devin Haney fight was also different. He was very intense. And in this one, he was super passive. It's like the drugs wore off. You know what I mean?
But also,
I can't help but think it's funny because I got a comment about this on my YouTube like hours ago, like before the fight started. And they were like, oh, like basically implying that I put too much focus on the steroid thing. Like it was all the Ryan Garcia fans were saying, oh, it was a small amount. And it's like, clearly it made a difference because look at the fight that just happened today. He also looked like not as swole at all. And he got dropped by Rolly Romero, who, look, Rolly Romero can punch, and Ryan Garcia has been dropped before multiple times, Luke Campbell, Gervonta Davis. But at the same time, he was also very gun shy. It was like he felt that power and he didn't want to feel it again. And yet he's so popular that I still think if you put Haney Garcia 2, a lot of people will watch it. I think people will be less interested than before because Devin Haney we haven't even talked about his fight and we don't want to. That fight was terrible.
We don't want to. We're going to talk about it though. So you guys, the one reason why I just kind of was off Rolly and taking him in that fight was just because of what we've seen from him as of late. Getting knocked out, not having good performances, and I can only judge you by your last performance. But this one kind of brings you back to Rolly, and this is the only positive that I can take. I think he makes an interesting fight with him and Teo, and I think he could also beat Teo.
Okay, I think that's fair because I don't.
Because Teo's been dropped before, man. Teo can be chinny, right?
Oh, yeah, I think that's fair. But we got a comment here that I wanted to throw up. I'm trying to hear Monticello says Isaac Cruz made Rolly look amateur though, and and we've been critical of Isaac Cruz up here and his inability to cut off the ring and things of that nature. Speaking of Jose Ramirez, good God, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah. But like that's the thing. Like, so we're looking at welterweight right now. I don't think Rolly's beating Boots. No. I'm not going to comment on Mario Barrios So we'll just leave it alone.
I think Rolly could beat Mario Barrios
That's
for
kind of what
sure.
I'm
Come
getting
on,
at.
man. Rolly
Kind of
could
what
beat
I'm getting
him.
at. It's fucked up. I feel like I'm disrespecting Mario Barrios, and I really don't want to. But
Hey, you know, I've always liked Mario Barrios at 140 pounds, especially. But yeah,
I'm not sure. See, this again speaks to what I was saying leading up to this. Welterweight has never been worse in my lifetime. Rolly could beat Brian Norman Jr. Can he? Maybe.
I don't know. I think Brian Norman Jr. is a beast, and I think Brian Norman Jr. could give Teofimo Lopez a very good run for his money. And I don't know if that's a fight that Teofimo Lopez wants. Remember, everything you hear in boxing, unless it's for real and it's like this fight's gonna happen, it could all be BS. Remember, there was a lot of talk that Teofimo Lopez and Brian Norman Jr. were gonna fight.
Mm-hmm.
That fight never happened.
Supposedly supposedly Brian Norman Jr. is the one that backed out of it. People tried to say, but I don't know. I legitimately don't know because everyone in boxing is full of shit,
Yeah.
and there are not a lot of. No, I'm not going to get into the whole rant. I'm not going to fucking piss you guys off. But like Rolly Romero and Brian Norman Jr. is actually kind of interesting, just because like I don't feel like I know how good Brian Norman Jr. is. I
Yeah.
don't know if the Rolly fight is going to tell me. But if he loses, it'll tell me how good he's not, if that makes sense. I think Boots is just like far and away above everyone in this weight class. And I'm not even sure the second best dude in this weight class has a title because, like, Devin Haney.
Is he the second best though? Like, what did we see tonight?
But here's the thing, though. If Devin Haney fights Rolly Romero, are you betting on Rolly Romero?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing because I think Rolly, if he lands on Devin and Devin does get hit, I think Devin could be on his ass again. We just saw Ryan on his ass today.
I want to say Brian Norman Jr. is the second best
Yes,
welterweight,
I would agree with you.
but I would like to see him beat somebody better than Derek Cuevas, for example. You know, like I would like to see him fight one of these top end dudes. You know, I mean, even if he would unify with Jerron Boots Ennis right now, like I wouldn't pick him in the fight, but I'd be intrigued to see how he does. He's supposed to fight Jin Sasaki next, and that's going to be in Japan, which is interesting. In June, but before that, he had the breakout win against Giovanni Santillan.
Which,
That was
by
the
the
one.
way, that was Giovanni. You think about a lot of hype
That was an
behind the
upset.
guy.
That was
Yeah,
that was a
you
little
think
upset.
about a lot of hype. I've never been so disappointed in my entire life because I was a huge Giovanni fan. I still am. I hope he kind of figures it out. Really exciting fighter. But that was a fight where I think Brian Norman Jr. for me earned a lot of cachet.